You're looking for a Panamanian visa and you're sitting on cash. You're cash rich and you're thinking, can I just put some money in the bank and get my Panamanian residence permit in the process? Well, I'm here to tell you yes, 100% yes. It is possible to put money in a Panamanian bank and get a Panamanian residence permit as a result. In this video, everything you need to know. Hello, my name is Javier Correa. I'm a licensed enrolled agent in the States, and I'm also a global mobility expert with a focus on Panama. I've helped countless people relocate to the Republic of Panama. Let's dive right into today's video. So, you have cash. You're cash rich. You sold your business. You had a liquidity event. You sold stocks. I mean, you name it. You're sitting on hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars in cash. And you're thinking, well, I don't want to necessarily buy an asset. I'm a very mobile person. Real estate is nice, but I like renting because renting really gives me a lot of freedom. I have a lot of clients, particularly young guys, who are in that mindset. I want to rent for a couple of months here. Then I want to move over to Costa Rica. Then I want to do this and do that. But I do want to have my Panamanian residence permit because Javier, I watched your videos. I agree with what you're saying. Panama is one of the best places to be. Business friendly, territorial tax system, great dating scene, wonderful city, wonderful beaches, great weather all year round. I mean, you name it, Javier, you're right. Panama is one of the places to be, but I just don't want to buy real estate. And everyone out there is talking about real estate, even you, Javier. So this is the part where I say, fear not, my friends, there is an alternative. You can grab some of that cash, put it into the bank, and get a Panamanian residence permit. Now, what are the options here? Number one, if you're a friendly nation's passport holder, so I'm looking at you Americans, I'm looking at you Canadians, you guys qualify for this. You can put $200,000 into the bank and you get your Panamanian residence permit. Now, you have to put the money into a term deposit. It has to be there for a certain number of years. But if you do that, you put money into the Panamanian banks and you get your residence permit here in the Republic of Panama. Friendly nations, you get access to the Republic of Panama by just putting $200,000 into a Panamanian bank. It's as easy as that. Then, if you want to go for the qualified investor visa, then you need to bump that number up to $750,000. That's what you have to put in the bank. So obviously a much higher amount in order to get residence in the Republic of Panama. And then lastly, for certain edge cases, you also do have the Economic Solvency Visa, which requires you to put $300,000 into a term deposit in a Panamanian bank. So regardless of what option you're choosing, whether it's friendly nations, qualified investor, or Economic Solvency Visa, you are going to have to put the money in a term deposit. So just putting the money into a checking account or to a savings account is not going to be enough. Now, like I said before, if you are, for example, a friendly nation's passport holder, that is only $200,000. Now, who qualifies for this? Most Europeans and obviously North Americans qualify for the friendly nations. So Americans, Canadians, I'm looking at you. In your case, it's just $200,000. You put the money in the bank, you're good to go. You got your friendly nations, 2 years temporary residence, and then you can upgrade to permanent residence. In the case of qualified investor, they don't care what passport you hold. As long as you put the 750,000 US dollars into a Panamanian bank and you put it into a term deposit with all the specificities that the Panamanian government requires, then you get a straight path to permanent residence in the Republic of Panama with all the perks that come with it. Having your Panamanian national ID card issued right away, having a direct path to citizenship, having access to a travel document, kind of like a Panamanian passport for permanent residence. And then for certain cases that we rarely see here at the Rothbard Group, but still possible, if we have somebody who essentially does not want to go and does not want to proceed with the qualified investor visa, but also lacks a passport that would allow him to access the friendly nations visa, you do have the economic solvency visa. And so the economic solvency visa is in essence something like the friendly nations, but you have to pay a bit more just because you don't have a nice passport. You're not on the nice list, so to speak. So, for example, if you've done citizenship by investment and you have a St. Kittsian passport or a St. Lucian passport or Vanuatu or anything like that, then you essentially would need to put $300,000 into the bank, and you essentially get the same treatment as the friendly nations, but you're required to put 100,000 more, which is you go to the bank, you put your money in, you get 2 years temporary residence, and then you can upgrade that to permanent residence after 5 years. You can apply for citizenship. So essentially, friendly nations and economic solvency visa are a mirror of each other. But if you are a friendly nations passport holder, you essentially get a discount. You pay $100,000 less than everyone else. And only in qualified investor does everyone come in together under a single amount, $750,000. Now, Why is this option interesting? This option is interesting, number one, for people who are essentially cash rich and who just like diversification. So Panamanian banks are reliable. They have strong correspondent relationships with American banks. Obviously, Panamanian banks give you access to multiple currencies. So if you want to hold, obviously, US dollars, euros, Swiss francs, British pounds, there are options here in the Republic of Panama that will allow you to do that. There are even crypto-friendly banks in the Republic of Panama. We work with one in particular, excellent bank. I bank there personally, or company banks there. I mean, it is a great place to have, an account, and you can access crypto assets directly from the bank. So that is something also very interesting if you're a crypto investor. So the Panamanian banking scene is definitely very, very interesting. But above all, I would say, in addition to everything I've just mentioned, what you have in the Republic of Panama is interesting term deposit rates. So, for example, you go to Miami, you go to Bank of America Chase, and you look at their certificate deposit rates, the CD rates, those are relatively low. Same thing with Switzerland, same thing with Canada. However, here in the Republic of Panama, we've opened accounts for our clients where, the savings account, the simple, stupid savings account, is paying 4% on deposits paid weekly. And so if you're looking at term deposit options, you could have 6%, 7% in certain cases, depending on how much money you're depositing. Now, obviously, Panama does not have a deposit insurance scheme similar to what, FDIC would be in the US, but at the same time, Panamanian banks are much more conservative. And this I can tell you because I know that people who just come down to Panama and hope to open a bank account on their own often find challenges. Panamanian banks are not very easy to deal with if you don't know the right people. Now, when you know the right people, everything, flows very well. But if you don't, there's a lot of friction, a lot of questions, a lot of documents. And so Panamanian banks are extremely conservative, and they apply the same conservatism to their lending policy, which means that in Panama, usually banks aren't lending your money out as much as they do in places like the US. So even though you don't have access to the same level of, let's say, government supported or government funded deposit insurance, you do have a situation where you have conservative banks. You're dealing with very conservative banks, and that means that the risk of a bank failure is relatively limited. You're not going to have any major risk. So, bottom line, you can put money in the bank. You can enjoy very high rates of return on your money compared to what you would find in North America or Europe. Again, I'm talking, 4% in a basic savings account, and then 5, 6, and even 7%, depending on how much money you're putting in into a term deposit, which is what you would need to qualify for either the Friendly Nations visa, the Qualified Investor visa, or the Economic Solvency visa. You can enjoy those great rates. You can diversify your banking portfolio internationally. You can access high quality credit cards and at the same time obtain your Panamanian residence permit. So, if you want assistance in opening a Panamanian bank account and also in obtaining your residence permit through a bank deposit here in the Republic of Panama, look no further. We welcome the opportunity to work with you. Rothbardgroup.com, and I'll see you in the next one.